30-second introductions.
This meeting is being recorded.
And if you have any upcoming event or something that you want to throw out there, let us all know about, then please let us know and also put it into the chat, maybe with a link or whatever helps us get to you quickest. So I'll start. Stephanie Faradini. I am the Secretary Treasurer of Mountain Women in Business. I'm a paralegal and I do bookkeeping. And so if you have any questions on Mountain Women in Business or any questions about anything really, then just reach out to me. All right, Deb, good morning.
Good morning. I'm Deb Evans, co-president of Mountain Women in Business. I'd like to help gather our speakers and handle the social. So if you want to post anything about your business, either on our website or our social pages, let me know. That's it. Stephanie, I can't hear you now.
Stephanie on mute.
You're muted.
Sorry. Rachel, you're up. Sorry about that.
Okay. Hi, I'm Rachel Henderson. I'm co-president of Mountain Women in Business and the owner of Rachel's Creations. I specialize in murals and face painting and canvas painting parties. We just had another great one at the Nature Link over the weekend, which was a lot of fun. And we're going to try to do one a month starting in April, possibly. It'll be my third or fourth one with her, and they go over really well. So we're having fun with that. And I work part-time at Mac Nation, and I'm also a house and pet sitter. Got Steffi on the books. I've got Audra on the books. I'm getting booked up all the way into the holidays next year if I'm here. So ask early and talk to you guys. That's me.
Great. Pat, good morning.
Good morning and aloha from Kauai. Smarter Women Colorado, and I help you with your future income. And what you probably didn't see on the newsletter that I sent out yesterday was that a Super Bowl Sunday, it was just a marketing tip of, I remembered the Clydesdale advertising, and I remember the song, I loved Hear the World to Sing, or Teach the World to Sing, and these were Coke and Budweiser. And there's been a lot of other really cute ads, and I have no idea who the sponsors are. So take a look at your advertising. How good is it? Smarter Women Colorado. Thanks.
Great. Good morning. Josie. Josie? Yes. Oh, you're muted.
Yep, sorry. Okay, good morning. I'm Josie. I have a business in Indian Hills, and it's a meeting sanctuary. It's a, well, I actually have another business where we manage nonprofit associations upstairs. And we manage about 9 associations, and they're from all different industries. And then downstairs we have a kind of a gallery. It used to be in our gallery, and we rent it out for meetings or social events. And yeah, it's right across from the post office, right next to Mac Nation. So if you're ever in the neighborhood and you want to pop in, feel free. I'm usually there on weekdays.
Great. Okay. Good morning, Rin.
Good morning. How is everybody today? I am a relationship coach, so helping people navigate and break the cycle of toxic relationships. Not where Lori's coming from, but once people are much further along in their healing journey, helping them really taking accountability for their part and healing the places that kind of allow some of that to come in, and breaking that cycle for them. It's not just our romantic relationships, but also our partners, our colleagues, our customers, our networking groups. So it's all encompassing. So doing a lot of work with that. We just started Valentine's Day last night, taking a look at all the messages that come through from Valentine's Day and where those actually have us giving our power away instead of building ourselves back up. That was a group program, but I mostly do individual work with people.
Great. Okay. Debbie, good morning.
This Debbie, we have like three
Yeah.
Debbies now.
Oh, that Debbie. Yeah.
All right. Good morning, Debbie Solko, Fairway Independent Mortgage. I do refinance and purchase loans. Specialize really in that first time home buyer through the reverse client. So if you know anybody that's 62 or older that has 50% equity in their property or more, maybe a reverse would be wise for them. It's a good financial decision for some, and some it's not. And I kind of help you wade through the differences. If it's right, it's right. If it's not, I'll let you know. Same with first time home buyers. There's lots of programs out there. Should they use them or shouldn't they use them? It just depends on their circumstance. So any questions, just give me a shout. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Lori, good morning.
Good morning. I am Lori with PeaceWorks. I'm the director here. We are a domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, really anti-violence nonprofit. We have a couple things coming up. We have the annual spring tea. I shared the link in there at Conifer Community Church. Yes, Conifer Community Church, where we've had it the last 3 times. We are looking to sell some tickets, so I did share the link. Also looking for a couple more silent auction items for that. We're going to have some body groove going on, some live music with Lena, and want to just put out another quick shout out. So I'm also assisting with Chance's scholarship through the Platte Canyon Chamber. So also soliciting some auction items for that, and that auction's not until April, I believe. So check out, I'm going to go ahead and share the Chance's website because they're also looking for sponsorships, and all the money raised goes to Platte Canyon Senior High for those that apply for scholarship for continuing their education. So thanks.
Great. And so Lori, maybe you can just put your email in our chat. There's that was a lot. And so if anybody wants any kind of, any piece of PeaceWorks, there's lots of stuff to do in there. There's lots of help needed always. So reach out to Lori. Okay, let's see, where am I here? Cindy, good morning.
Good morning. So I just want to say 2 things before I say who I am. First of all, Pat, I want a new job carrying your baggage. Every time I say something about you in Hawaii, I'm like super envious, which is a terrible thing for a mindfulness teacher, which is what I, and I also feel immense joy this morning. I've been writing a blog and doing a talk on mindfulness emotions. So I'm thinking about my emotions. I feel immense joy at the number of people who I'm starting to feel like a heart connection with, and like that, oh, I know these people now after being with this group for a bit of time. So yeah, and I am a mindfulness teacher, a yoga teacher, and a life coach. And I specialize in my coaching really in helping people to figure out how they want to get where they want to get. And I have a lot of young professionals who have somehow become my clients that have just, I don't know, they've just shown up and then referred more from a place of who am I than what do I want to do? Because everybody wants to come to coaching and say, tell me what to do. And I'm like, cool, we'll figure that out. But what got you here in the first place? So I just updated my website yesterday, and today my job is to go back and probably take out all the typos that are in there before I publish it or let people see it. I took one thing off that wasn't going to happen, and I'll be teaching. I'm coming out of my Zoom bubble, Zoom only bubble, and my COVID bubble, I want to say, which is a big woohoo for me. I'm going to be teaching a Sunday morning class and a Wednesday morning class in my studio, and also opening up a Zoom link concurrently for, so it's a small studio, so it'll be limited people in there, but I'm sort of, again, breaking out a little bit of saying, I'm not going to see humans. I want to see humans. I also do on-demand stuff. So Josie, I can't wait to meet you in person. I'm so glad to see you. next week. If you have a group and you want to bring me in yoga or meditation for an event, happy to do that. I'll put a link to the website. Don't look at it till this afternoon, okay? But I will be doing a Wednesday morning mindfulness class for those of you who really want to learn to meditate and have some instruction and some understanding other than just sit there and breathe and let your mind go crazy. Right. The kind of the why behind the what. So that's me. Great to see you all.
Okay, thanks. All right, Karen Miller, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Karen Miller from KSM Designs. I'm glad to be here. I can't always make it, but I'm so glad I'm here today. I make one-of-a-kind jewelry. I repurpose, refurbish, and also recycle. And with Mother's Day's coming and all the festivities with weddings and that, I can actually help you design what you want. I am a professional designer, and some of my items, these are just, I don't know if you can see them. There you go. Can you see that? They're just a little bit different, and I make all different kinds. And the fact that it's one of a kind, I do not duplicate anything. And here's another one for dressing for success. If you're out there promoting your business, you want to look the part. And that's really important because the first thing they see your business is when you walk in the door and you introduce yourself at KSM Design. You want them to have that impression with you. And just adding little things here and there, all of a sudden you become a whole picture of yourself, but it also edifies your business. So keep that in mind. If I can help you with that, or if you have a dress or something that you absolutely love, I can help you design something to go with that. And also if you have your mother gave you something, your grandmother gave you something and it's sitting in your closet, I can refurbish that. So, but we'll work on that together and you design it and I put it together for you. So if I can help you at all, I do give a nice discount for members only. And so if I can help you at all, let me know. I'm not a jeweler. I create jewelry with beads and things like that. So I don't do silversmithing, just so people don't misunderstand. But Karen Miller, KSM Designs, I'm local and I have a website. I'm in Ebigata up in Conifer, Tusher, Colorado in Belmar. And also I'm in the Colorado Frontier store, which I absolutely love. Never thought that was going to be the place, but it's been fun working there. I enjoy the people there. So if you ever get a chance, stop in those stores. And if I can help you, let me know. Okay.
Great, thank you. So I would guess that over half of the women here right now have a piece of your jewelry, Karen. I'm just putting that out there. It's great stuff. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Amber, good morning. Let's see. She looks like Amber is muted. Okay, did I?
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Sorry, I was just dropping off my kiddos at school. I'm Amber with Daddy's Homemade, and we make all natural homemade syrup and pancake mix. You can find us at Abergata as well, and several other local facilities. We've actually recently got them in some local places in downtown Evergreen and Kiki's and Sweet Hayden. Cactus Jack's uses our syrup. We are actually a proud sponsor of Go Paint in Evergreen. They are doing bringing back the annual Art of the Egg painting contest. So if you're an artist or you know of any, get in touch with Go Paint. You can paint an egg and maybe sponsored. Maybe you can be on the egg for Daddy's Homemade. I don't know. So I'll put some information in there. We're gonna be at Sweet Hayden once a month for some little pop-up markets. And there's one more place, Centennial. We have a Norwegian bakery that is hosting Daddy's Homemade on Saturday this weekend down in Centennial. Excuse me, with a lot of breath this morning. So if you were looking for something different to do, they're going to be making lots of special cinnamon bread and cinnamon raisin bread to go really good with some French toast with our Daddy's Homemade. So I'll get all that in the chat for you guys.
Wow, sounds delicious. I have not eaten breakfast yet. Okay, Other than our speaker, Debbie, did I get everybody? If not, holler at me. Okay, so I'm going to let Deb introduce our speaker, Debbie. If everybody could just mute so that we don't get any background noise while Debbie is sharing all of her info with us, that'd be great.
Okay, very good. So Debbie McCusker actually spoke to my franchise. Oh my God, Debbie, I don't know how long ago it was. I was gonna say 15 years ago, maybe. And you're muted, Debbie. So okay.
Yeah, I just got it.
We actually did it virtually then. And I'm trying to remember, I think it was all audio at that time because we didn't have Zoom way back then. And she was very well received. So I asked if she would join us and give us some professional tips on organization. And she graciously accepted. Debbie, do you need access? You want to share a PowerPoint? I can make you host.
I'm going to share if that's okay.
Yes, that's perfect. Let me make you a host. We'll get it going. You should be able to accept that.
Perfect.
Yay! I love it when technology works, but I shouldn't speak too soon.
Right.
All right, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you all for having me. Welcome. Thought I'd put together a little something that is a little bit in general, good for every business person around productivity and time management, but also I've got some flares for a lot of you that own your own business and are working from home, as many of us are these days. So this is just a little bit of processes and things. My name is Debbie McCusker. I am owner of Go Ask Debbie, and I specialize in time management and productivity, really usually around the tools that you'll use. But today I really want to talk about processes. So let me just go ahead and get started. You all can see my screen okay, right? All right, I saw some heads shaking. So before I show you some of my tips that I've got for you all today, I want to tell you a little bit more about myself. As you see on the screen here, I've got some pictures. You know, my name is Debbie McCusker. I'm a wife, mom, and geek of all things productivity. My nickname from years ago is dweeb, not geek, but I still start to say geek. I've been in training and development for most of my adult life, and I've helped thousands of busy professionals learn and implement techniques into their schedules that save them time. And that allows them to be able to work towards career and life, dreams. So I love all the times that I hear people give me the ahas, the OMGs, you just saved me hours of time. That really is what motivates me. So that's who I am. All right, so let me start with a quick story about how I got here. So ever since I was young, I filled my life with so many activities. I mean, I remember at one point, my mother, when I turned 16, said, here's the car keys. Go take yourself wherever. But I had to figure out how to make it all happen. And so when I graduated college, my young career days, I started getting so busy that I felt overwhelmed, right? My boss thought I was so good. He just kept giving me assignments, additional tasks and duties and projects to take on. And I found myself working 80 or more hours a week, and sometimes many more than that. And I felt like I wanted to quit. And so I knew he was helping my career growth, but he was also kind of directing my career. And I just kept saying yes, right? I kept being that, let's just get busy and do things. So then I figured out, I know software, right? How can that software help me? So I got Microsoft Office Specialist certified, and I figured out and learned that there are tools that can help you with your time management and productivity. That's kind of what started it all. So I started perfecting how to use them in my life, and not just at work, at home. You have to mix both of them together as well. And you all self-employed know that. The tools like Microsoft Office do a great job with time management and delegation, task management, and they can help you with the overwhelm. But if you're not still managing that chaos through some processes, that's not going to help. So it was just kind of interesting story. I got to be so effective that I had many bosses and coworkers would ask me how I got so much done in my day. And they would start telling others when people came to them asking for help, they would say, go ask Debbie. So thus that came the Go Ask Debbie terminology of my company that I started. And I actually had one boss one time that says, Debbie does the work of 3 employees, we need to replicate her. So that sort of became my mantra is, everybody came to me to try to ask how they could do more in their day and how they could learn the technology to help them. But again, remember, the tool isn't the most important. It's more about the processes and systems that you put in place, and then learning your tool will just help you with that. So why listen to me? I am a master trainer, master performance consultant. I've been in learning and development for over 30 years. I know how to take complex tasks and break them down so that anyone can implement them. I mean, people of all genres, all ages, all, anything, I've been able to assist them, and I can really, I'm a teacher provider when it comes to a standout approach. And so I really understand the person, and I'm able to help them with how I can help them in their life and their situation. So I'm here to show you a couple of secrets. And so let's get started with that. So I kind of looked around a lot of your Facebook pages. A couple of you had LinkedIn sites and some websites, and I love that facility that you have for meeting and events. I'd like to go there sometime. I think it's Jody, right? So I looked at you all and said, how do I feel like I can best help you? So these tips are really kind of the things that I thought might help you as business owners, business women, and working from home, as most of you probably do. So if you're struggling with meetings and family interruptions and no time for actual work, this is what I'm here to help you with. Don't want you to feel overwhelmed. If you're feeling overwhelmed and feeling like there's not enough time in the day, that's something that these tips can help you. So the first one I want to talk to you about is secret number one. And this one, I know very few people that actually do this, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it. So I'm going to give you some practical advice here. Secret number one is don't check your email first thing in the morning. The number one mistake that busy professionals can do is to start opening your email and then get distracted from the top couple of things that you're supposed to be doing that day, right? You need to reach your goals. And so you need to reach those projects to get those projects done. And so many of those emails are junk or items that maybe you don't need to be on. They're just an FYI for you, or you're CC'd because it was something that maybe was just a previous meeting, right? So those don't need to be handled. And someone may say that they need to have an answer for you, but I wholeheartedly agree that poor planning on someone else's part doesn't constitute an emergency on mine. I've said that for years, and it's totally true. And I always tell my students, you should be able to schedule time to put your whole self into email management. So many of you have probably heard of time blocking, right? Time blocking is where you're actually scheduling certain chunks of your day to do certain tasks so that you can wholeheartedly focus on those tasks. Email should be no different. You should schedule time for email. And you can save that time, and I'll tell you my example. So if you feel like this is something that you feel like people need to reach you right away, right? If there are people in your life that are emergency people, they're going to have a cell phone for you, and you know that that's an emergency number you need to answer, right? So email is very different. We need to make sure that we're treating it as such. Put up an auto reply. If you've got time at like 10 to 11 a.m. instead of 7 or 8 a.m. when you first start your workday, schedule that time for the email management. Schedule this 2 or 3 times a day, and you can set up your auto reply to tell people the times of day that you check your email. That way, if they do expect a return, they're going to know that return or that reply is not going to happen until that certain time that you've put in your auto reply. And don't be afraid to do this. I'm telling you, this is the first time that I went to do this. I thought, oh my gosh, people are going to be trying to reach out to me and it's going to be disastrous, right? That's kind of a scary thing, which is scary that we're also reliant on email, right? But here's the story that I tell people, and this is what happened the first time I stopped checking emails. When I stopped checking emails first thing in the morning, I actually was in meetings all morning, and it was mid-morning, somewhere around 10 to 11 in the morning. And one of my coworkers in one of my meetings said, "Did you check my email? Have you read my email?" And I said, "No, I've been in meetings all morning." And so she proceeded to tell me what exactly was in the email and asked me the question she needed answered that was in that email. And so I answered her during that meeting. And when I got to my email time block, I just checked that one off and archived it, right? I had already answered her. And that was such a relief in my mind. And it was just an eye opener to say, email is not that important. And I'll tell you a side note real quick, if we have a minute as well, because I think I'll have some time here at the end for Q&A. I had a coworker years ago that said, it was millennial, right before 1999, December 31st, right? And my boss had asked me to speak to everyone. We had just brought email to our business, and I was working with the title business. And I remember someone saying, "What if the power goes out?" Right? Email, what if the power goes out? And I said, well, what if the computers go down, but I still have a phone that works? they were all asking me all these questions, but this one person said, what am I supposed to do? And I said, well, did you do title before? Did you do escrow and title before computers, before email? Do you have a fax machine that works? Would you have paper that's printed, right? How did you do it in the old ways? So it just sort of was, another eye-opener situation for me to say, don't be so reliant on the computer. Don't be so stuck to the computer. And that email, I feel like, has really become that number one thing. And every single person that I've helped do this has said, oh, I can't believe it, how much time I've saved in the day. I didn't waste the time on the email. And many times people address things during meetings later. All right, so on to secret number 2, get lost. I'm telling you, this one is a game changer as well. So, as busy career women, you've got so many distractions. Many of you, I think it was Amber, you said you're dropping off kids, right? You've got kids, you've got family life, you've got even just potentially pets, which I had right at the beginning of this meeting as a distraction. So with all those distractions, even though you're in an office environment or you have an office in your home, you feel like you could close that door, but people are still knocking on that door, right? People are knocking on the door. You're still going to have distractions, or if you're in an office, you've got coworkers trying to ask you questions. So let me tell you the story about this one and why this one is something you really can do. Anyone can do this. And when I say get lost, I mean leave, right? If you're at home and you have children, maybe there's another solution. I've got a tip for you, but leave. I actually did this one time. Sometimes you could go into a small conference room or someone else's office if you're in a, office environment, but I actually left the office because people kept knocking at my office door, and there was, of course, a little window so they could see that I was actually in there. I left, I went out into the parking lot and sat in my car and worked for an hour and a half. And I tell you, I will stand by it to this day. I got about 4 hours worth of work done, which would have been done as I was sitting in my office, right? So get lost, go somewhere, find a location where you can go. Even if you have a home office, but you've got a spouse that's working from home, or you've got maybe pets that are going crazy, or you've got some construction next door, right? Whatever might be going on, take off and find a library, a coffee shop. I know there's some limitations these days with COVID, but find somewhere you can go to get rid of those distractions. And oh, by the way, I will tell you, because I know you're all in Colorado, but I'm in Phoenix. When I went to my car that day, it was 110 degrees here in Phoenix. And I did turn on the air conditioner, but I'll tell you, I turned it on for a few minutes, but I found that it was actually distracting as well. So turning on a heater in Colorado might be the same way. I actually cooled the car down for a little bit. It's actually recording some training, and the AC was a little bit off with the audio equipment. So I turned it off and I sat in that car at that 110 degrees, and it had cooled it off enough that I was okay to last for that hour and a half. But I tell you, when I mean get lost, I mean literally leave. I will tell you, if you are in your home office and you have maybe young children and you can't leave, make it a rule that when you shut your door and you've got some sort of sticker, put a sticky something on your door that says, this is do not disturb, this is mom has to work time, and make that a rule of your house, right? And so that one's a tough one, but if you can absolutely leave, then absolutely leave. Now, if you do have younger children or have that situation where you can't necessarily leave and that do not disturb sign is not working on your door, arrange for play dates, right? Find other moms who are working and have a play date where you have this 2-hour chunk of time where you need to get something done and you need absolute silence. Set up that time and set up a play date so that someone else can take care of your kids for that time. It's worth it for your business to do that. So number 2 is get lost. And I really, really believe in that one. And this one's kind of funny, being in a meeting, right? Silly and almost impossible, but we've got so many meetings. I'm telling you to avoid meetings, right? We have so many meetings in my life. You, especially as business owners, need to make sure that you are focusing on only those meetings and following the old 80-20 rule, focusing on those meetings that are going to help you reach the goals that you have with your business, right? This one's a very good one because you're trying to, we're teaching you things, right? Deb invites me to teach you some things and help you out, but also you're sharing relationships where you're going to help increase your business and hopefully provide each other with some clients, right? So that's an important one, but don't go to those that are wasting your time. So if you've got a meeting where, there's 20, 30 or more people in a meeting, and there's a typical 3 to 5 people that discuss something during that meeting every single week, and you decide that's really not valuable of my time, then don't go to that meeting. Now, I don't say to stop ever going to that meeting, but I'll tell you my example. So my example of this, my scenario was, I actually have, and I have a few of them every single week, but I've got a meeting every single week that's an hour long with like this 20 to 30 people, right? And after a couple of times, I felt like I wasn't really engaged in that meeting. It wasn't something that was helping me get to my goals or that was really helping me focus on my career. And so I just told the leader of that meeting, I'm going to leave this meeting as tentative on my schedule. If you need me or there's a topic during that week that you feel is valuable for me or I need to be there, go ahead and do that. So I'll tell you, about a month and a half went by and I missed all those meetings. So that was 5 hours of my time, 5 or 6 hours. And then the manager, leader of that meeting called me out and said, hey, we brought up a topic that we think we need your help with. Can we schedule a separate meeting or can you come to next week's meeting? And then I came to that meeting. It was valuable. I think, when it comes to owning your own business and being an independent businesswoman, probably many of you are also thinking, I need to go to 10 meetings where I'm, engaging with other people and I'm networking. I still say that's probably wrong, right? Find 1 or 2 that you feel you get lots of value from and focus on those. It doesn't mean you have to, don't go to those other meetings or you never go to them or unenroll from them, right? Leave those meetings, but talk to someone in that meeting who's leading it and tell them, here's what I'm focused on. When there's a topic that's covered that I feel is valuable for my time, then I'll come to that meeting. So again, take that 80-20 rule and just find those meetings that are wasting your time and, focus on what's going to help you grow your career. So those are kind of my 3 tips. I am kind of fast here talking. I do want to go ahead and give you a bonus tip. So since we've got some time, I'll still open up for Q&A afterwards. But since we have some time, I want to give you a bonus tip. And this is one that I feel like it's funny. Deb, you reached out to me a while back and I listened to one of your recorded meetings and one of the presenters actually spoke a little bit about this. One of the tips I'm going to give you with this. And one of the things is just say no, right? I told you my story with early on in my career, I was always saying yes because I felt like my boss, would put me down or fire me if I said no, right? So there are many, many times where it's appropriate to say no. And I give you a little screenshot here, but these are some times, right? When you're overwhelmed, where there's things that people are asking you about that aren't focused on your career and your growth, your area of expertise, when it doesn't align to your goals, you should say no, right? And so as an independent businesswoman, there's a little bit different way to say no. And I'll give you some tips here, but these on the screen here, as I talk about this, these are ones that are just generic and potentially coworker related, where you may not have a coworker, right? If you're on your own, you've got to figure out a way to say no a little bit different way, different way. So, if you're the kind of person that always says yes and you're letting things pile up, you've got to learn to say no. You could say, I wish I could help, but I know I couldn't give it the time it deserves right now. So maybe there's another time, right? If Deb would have come to me in November, I would have said, it's probably not a good time for me to present, but February was great timing. And obviously that's the date that she asked me for in the first place. But you can provide answers that are still solutions and a way to say yes without actually saying no and upsetting people. When you think someone else should do it, you may want to find a way to have someone else, if you're by yourself, right? I think many of you are independent and on your own. If there's a way that you can have someone else who can do something, this is an example of what one of your presenters said before. If it's housekeeping and it takes you an hour every week to clean your house, right? I don't know how large your houses are in Colorado, much larger than what we have here in Phoenix, but it takes me over an hour a week to clean my house, and I don't often get to it because things get so busy. So I say no to that, to cleaning my house. And I have a housekeeper. When my son was young, I would have him, have that as part of his chores. There's ways around it, but I will tell you a story. My story is sort of me being on the opposite side. Years ago, my aunt, when I was in college, my aunt owned her own hair salon, and it was out of her garage. Her husband was working off property, not in the house. And she found that she just felt like she was wasting time cleaning the house every week. So she asked me to clean her house every week. And in that hour, she told me, she ran the numbers for like a month. In that hour, when I was cleaning the house, she could get 2 to 3 people's hair done. And it was so much more money than the money she was paying me getting her housekeeping done, right? So that's just a huge thing that I think every independent business owner needs to know is how to say no. And I can share this with you all, this, share out with the group. It has a lot more actual specific verbiage, but just learn to say no, because there are things that you will get pulled into. If you're a yes person and you want to make sure that everyone's happy, you'll get pulled into those and you'll get drugged in the direction I started to early in my career, and letting other people take your time and not focusing on the areas you need to spend your time on to reach your goals with your business.
So Debbie, we have a question in the chat. Someone's asked, these are great tips, and can you talk more about time blocking?
Sure. Yeah, time blocking is something that's been around for quite some time, but people call it different things, time chunking, time blocking. But basically, you should schedule your week so that you've got chunks of time that are focused on the same type of activity. So for example, email that I talk, right? I schedule a couple of times every day throughout my schedule that is blocked for email management. And if I get through those, then I can get to some other projects that maybe I need to get to, right? But I want to focus on just email so that I can be a better responder to those emails and not hit the reply and send button too quickly, right? When you're managing emails and you're not blocking that time to manage those emails, sometimes you're in a meeting, you try to reply to an email, and then you say, oops, I forgot to also tell this person X, right? So a typical day, and I should have brought a screenshot, so that was a great question, but a typical day for me has about 6 or 7 different time blocks. And 2 or 3 of those are for email, depending on the day. And I've got about an hour each. And then I have an hour at the end of the day where I have time for wrap up. And that gives me time to hit email again if I need to, get to any project work that I didn't. But I block chunks of time that are specifically for whatever is my top 1 or 2 projects that I feel I need to get done that week. Karen, I'll take an example for you. Okay. I'll look at Karen's week. If Karen's got a wedding coming up and she still has some jewelry she has to make, and they've got, Friday night is the rehearsal dinner, then they've got different jewelry they're wearing for Saturday and you haven't gotten that done, or maybe it's 2 weeks before, however your time frame goes. I may say that I've got from 8 to 10 each morning, I'm going to work on my jewelry, right? 10 to 10:30, I'm going to have break time, right? You need to break because, especially with jewelry, that's a hand activity. So that next activity needs to be something that breaks away from that, to giving your time to relax your hands, your eyes, whatever, right? And then from 11 to 12, maybe that's your email time. And then 12 to 1 is lunch. And then 1 to 3 might be your email marketing or marketing in general, right? And then maybe from 3 to 5, you're working on jewelry again for that wedding that's upcoming. That's what you want to do at that chunk of time. It looks different for every single person, but it's focusing on one specific type of task during that chunked block of time, and your mind will focus better on what you're doing, and you'll find that you'll get things done a lot quicker that way. Does that help answer?
I believe so. Let's see if we have any other questions in the chat. But you guys can unmute yourselves and throw a question out there to Debbie.
Debbie, I just want to say that I do time blocking, but I was taught to do it with color. So any personal time is done. Pink is personal. Green is, an appointment, a money-making appointment, etc. So my admin time is purple, and so I can look at my calendar for the week and just see if I do have appointments or not, because I want to do so many appointments in a week. That's
right. Absolutely. Pat, I do the same thing. So I've got my color coded, and I actually saw someone I gave this advice to made a rainbow of colors. And I will suggest that when it comes to brain, some of the brain knowledge that I have, I'm not a doctor, but neuro whatever, right? The neuralistic programming that you learn about when it comes to training is that, you don't want to shock your eyes too much, because that can throw your brain off. So make sure they're soothing colors for you and not too crazy, bold or bright colors. But, and that person, when they changed their colors and I recommended that, they actually found that they were able to see some of the types of meetings that they were scheduling or the types of chunks that they were blocking. But you're right, Pat, you've got to color code it because that's how you see things, right? You've all been to a museum when you were younger, maybe, or you had kids you took through a museum where it said there was a color and a word on a block, and your eyes read the color and not the word, right? Because colors are the first thing that stand out to us in our eyes. And I will tell you though, even people who I've worked with that have color blindness, there are shades that your eyes can see depending on your level of color blindness or your type of color blindness. And so find those shades that work best for you as well if you're in that realm. But even if you're not, it's those, don't go too bold. Find the colors that will make sense for you and that will stand out and be soothing for you, but make you realize and see those chunks of time. Like you said, Pat, I can see what meetings I have for the week. So great point. Thank you for bringing that up. That's why I like to show my screen sometimes for that.
So Debbie, we have another question.
Sorry.
Rachel
Go ahead.
have questions. The question is, do you help people with organization skills and strategies?
Yes, I can definitely help people with that. I know one of the things that I used to get complimented on sort of right before the whole Go Ask Debbie thing was when someone came to me with a question on something. And this was when I really wasn't focused on productivity and time management. I was still in operations and marketing and sales. And I could always pull something in a heartbeat. If someone asked me for something, I could pull it in a heartbeat. So one of the things I teach people about is whatever systems you have access to, organize it in a way that makes sense to you. What I saw years ago for the first time, where I started realizing I could help people with this, is I saw people putting things in, and this is a couple of my employees at the time that I worked with, they would put things in folders called PowerPoint. They would put things in folders called Word. And I said to them, when you think of, I don't know, when you think of creating, Karen, I'll keep using you. When you're thinking of earrings, right? You had an earrings meeting. You had something about some earrings. Are you going to think, did I create that in PowerPoint or did I create that in Word? You're going to think earrings. So that's the folder types that you need to set up. So that's the type of organization I can do for people. It's more around your technology and your systems, putting those things in place so that when you need something, it's readily accessible because you're organized in a way that your brain thinks and how your business works. So I can absolutely help with that.
Perfect. I think Rachel has a question and so does Cindy. So let's go to Cindy and then Rachel.
Yeah, mine's not so much of a question.
Mine was just a comment.
Oh, Rachel, go ahead. You go first.
No, go ahead, Cindy.
You, okay. Mine is just more of a comment. I love all these tips. And I think, I worked for Franklin Covey for a number of years, and you listen to this stuff and you think, oh, that's just good common sense. But the question is, do you do it? And everything that Debbie talked about, there is so much neuroscience behind this about the science of productivity and how, especially as women, we think we should multitask. And that when we do less things in a day, we get more accomplished if you look at a period of time. So I just love this, Debbie. It's a great topic.
Yep.
Great tips.
Multitasking is a myth. It's been debunked.
And the fact that when we're stressed out trying to do 15 things at once, we're just living with a lot of cortisol and adrenaline in our body that completely whacks out our brain.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
It's so true. I was going to say the similar thing. The tip about just say no is so important, especially not with my artwork so much, but with my pet sitting. I've had so many times where I have an overnight client and then I have people that want me to do drop-ins at the same time or the same overlapping week. And I used to say yes, because don't turn down clients, cultivate as much business as you can. And I came to realize that's just way too stressful, because what if there's an emergency with one household? then it takes you away from the other. It causes more stress because you're wondering if you're getting to the other people enough and giving them enough time and attention. And I just tell people now, if it was my pet, I'd feel this way. I want to take care of one family at a time and give them my undivided time and attention. And if there's any emergency, you wouldn't want me leaving them alone to go take care of someone else's at the same time, because I've overbooked myself. And people appreciate that now. And maybe I don't make as much, you know, in that week as I possibly could, but I'm sane and I know I'm giving the best care I can. And I know I'm not going to be totally stressed if there is an emergency, because I am only responsible for one household at a time. And it works. It's important. It really is. And I've learned too, especially during the pandemic and especially in winter months, I don't leave my house. If someone has a pet that can come stay at my house, that's great. But otherwise, I'm running home every day, once a day, to make sure my pipes aren't freezing, my pellet stove hasn't seized up. You know, it just causes more stress. And I try to, you know, work around different things, or I refer other people if I know they're better suited for that particular job. And hopefully people will appreciate it, because it's better, what's best for their pets in the long run, not just me.
Totally agree.
But it takes time to learn it's okay. You're not going to make them mad if you tell them, I want to give the best care I can. I don't want to stretch myself too thin. Then they understand better than, well, but you have only one client that week. Why can't you take mine too?
Right. I think that's what, you know, some of the examples that I give in my deck are that, you know, there are ways to say no without actually using the word no. And I think especially as women, we always felt like we can't say no, right? That's just embedded in us, I guess, right? It's been something that I've had. My mother's the same way. And so finding another way to say something, and like Rachel, you said it, it's better for the client. You're not taking on too much, and it's better for you because you're not so stressed about trying to be that best client when you've got 3 different, you know, things going on. So
thank you. Good tips.
Welcome.
Well, I think all of it was just really great. So I've already followed you, Debbie, on LinkedIn. I think that we've shared your LinkedIn information. So if anybody wants to hop on there, then that would be fantastic. Did anybody have anything else for Debbie?
Oh, no.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. Great information. Great information. And we have your contact info. So if anybody wants to get in contact with Debbie, then I think we've shared it all over. So thank you.
Thank you all.
Other than that, I was just going to say that Debbie and I are going to be talking, and Steph and Pat. We do want, as soon as it's safe, to go back to in-person meetings. We're just not sure yet. I'm going to reach out to MRC today. We're going to reach out between the two of us to our upcoming speakers and take people's temperature and see where we're at there. And other than that, we'll keep everybody posted. There's some fun activities coming up for the spring. I think there's going to be a snow tubing day. We're going to come up with a few other fun things. See
so
what else Debbie has.
I've already signed up for the snow tubing. And I don't have, I mean, I have a grown kid, but I don't have kids. So it's going to be, this is like, it could be adult sledding, because that's what I'm doing. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think Audrey Krebs has registered, and there's a few others who have signed up. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And so I also, I mean, I do have a kid, but he's, 27. So he is actually going to come with us and do the ski part of Echo Mountain. He's never done the skiing part of it. So, so there's options. It's not just flying and sending your ass down a mountain at 80 miles an hour. So there's other ways to hurt yourself. Can't wait.
Hey, do you know if there are like discounted lift tickets? Yeah, I was not a big sledder as a kid, and I'm probably not at the age of 66. I'm not going to start now. However, I am a skier, which seems ridiculous that I don't want to sled, but I'm willing to put long sticks on my legs and get down the mountain. Do you know what are there like discounted lift tickets for like us or anything?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. If you go to the link that we sent in the email that's in the Facebook group, you can check the events that you want to do, whether I think you want to ski or if you want to tube.
All right, I'll check it out. Is it on Facebook? Because I'm an obsessive email to this point. I'm an obsessive email cleaner outer, so I'm not sure.
It is on Facebook. It is on the Facebook page. There's an invite, and it has all the information on there. So
yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah, we've passed that ski area on the way to Mount Evans plenty of times and said, you should check it out.
Yeah, I've never been there either. So, okay, anybody have anything else they want to share, or any upcoming events? Okay, great. All right. Well, it looks like we got about 5 minutes. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Steph, I wanted to share one more thing. Before COVID, PeaceWorks started offering a community wellness program, and then we got about a month into it and then shut it down. We just started that back up again in February, and we're offering slow flow yoga, chair yoga, nature hikes, block therapy. So if anybody is interested in that, the calendar is on PeaceWorks PeaceWorks website, and it's going to change monthly. So it's free activities, free events, just promoting health and wellness within the community. So that's open to anybody as well.
Great.
Great. I'd love to talk to you offline. It sounds like you've got enough people doing yoga, but if you're interested in offering any like meditation, I'd be happy to donate my time to do that. So
great. Thanks, Cindy. I'll be in touch and maybe we can get you on the calendar for April.
April would be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Take off in our camper, but April could be good. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Great.
And I just think I encourage all of you, if you can send something in to mountainwomeninbusiness@gmail.com, have it ready so I can cut and paste. That's the best thing. I'm not that creative. Please put it in there.
I just did that for Karen this morning. Thank you, Karen, for your jewelry little notice and ad. I just posted that to the page this morning. That was simple. So do that anytime you want us to share something.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody
okay?
have a great Tuesday. Reach out if you need anything, have any questions. And that's it. Great meeting.